What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Mine Something. If you're new here, my name is Jake, and in today's video we're going to talk about a new GPU mineable coin. Also, Nvidia doesn't want you to get confused with facts, and difficulty is dropping across most of these GPU mineable coins. We're going to take a look at those, as well as crypto prices, profitability, and a couple other little tips that I wanted to go over with you guys. So do me a favor, before we get started, hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. Let's jump straight into the market. We're going to take a look at Flux right off the bat. So Flux is coming in at 50 cents right at the moment. You can see it's had a nice little recovery over the last 24 hours. Let's go ahead and take a look at all coins right now. The time of recording, it's about 11:20 p.m. on January 3rd, 2023. Bitcoin is coming in at 16,850, up about 1% for the 7-day. Ethereum is up to 1,248, which is about 3% on the 24-hour and about 4.25% on the 7-day. Then we've got XRP coming in at almost 35 cents. Dogecoin is still under 8 cents at 7.2. Cardano is at about 26 cents. Polygon is at 80 cents. Litecoin is up about 12% for the week at about $76.77. Polkadot at 466. Solana is on a tear, up almost 30% for the week and 16.5% for the 24 hours at $13.47. And let's take a look at Toncoin. It's also up almost 7% for the week at $2.23. Let's go ahead and take a look at Kaspa and a few others. So Kaspa is coming in at 0.0049, down about 2% on the 24-hour chart. Let's take a look at Radiant. Radiant is down about 3% at 0.00075. And then let's take a look at Neoxa, sitting at 0.009897, down about 6.3% on the 24-hour chart. And I want to take a look at the entire crypto market cap because I find this interesting. So this is not Bitcoin price. This is the total crypto market cap, okay? And this green line represents where we are right now. And look at where that is in comparison to the top of the previous cycle. So is this the bottom? Will this hold as support? I'd love to hear your comments down below, but for me personally, I think there's a really good chance that it is the bottom, but I would not be surprised to see some scam wicks take us a little lower, especially in the first quarter of this year. Now, once we get into Q2, Q3 of 2023, I would be really surprised if we go any lower than we currently are now as far as the total crypto market cap. Again, I'm not talking about Bitcoin specifically. I'm talking about the entire crypto market cap. But we don't have long to wait out. It's probably going to be, another 2 or 3 months to see if that prediction comes true. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at what to mine. So a single 3070 at, let's do 10 cents per kilowatt hour. Let's see here. So Radiant is coming in at -6 cents. Lithium also at -6 cents. Ergo -8 cents, which is surprising to see that above Kaspa at -11 cents. And also Flux is above Kaspa at -10 cents. Let's see what else we've got. We've got BTG at -16 cents. ETHW -17 cents. And it's not like we're seeing incredible price spikes on all of these coins, but what we are seeing perhaps is a drop in difficulty. So let's take a look at Kaspa first. This is a 3-day chart on difficulty, and you can see at the moment we are sitting at 92, but we topped out at about 100 over the course of the last 3 days. If we take a look at total network hash rate, chart's going to look a little bit different here. You can see we've been trending down, and let's take a look at Radiant while we're on miner stat real quick. I think Radiant's difficulty has dropped significantly. So current network hash rate right now is, yeah, sitting at 38 terahash, which is down substantially. Let's take a look at difficulty. So yeah, difficulty is down to basically the levels that we were at roughly December 5th. So yeah, heading down substantially. And then next, let's take a look at Flux. So Flux pumped for, I don't know, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks. So we bottomed out roughly about December 12th, and we peaked roughly about December 31st. And we got down significantly on January 2nd, but we're kind of climbing back up there. It'll be interesting to see where this goes. You know, we got the halving coming up in the very near future, which is about a month and a half, 2 months away. And then Ergo is down substantially as well at about 3. And the last time we were at this level was prior to the merge. And then the Oxa, we're also down to levels that we haven't seen until, you know, roughly about September 1st, approximately, or maybe end of August. Nvidia. So Nvidia unveiled the 4070 Ti at CES, and the statements that they're making are just ludicrous. But, you know, do we expect anything less from Nvidia at this point? So they're claiming that the 4070 Ti is 1.8 times faster than a 3090 Ti. Now, when it comes to true rasterization, no. Now, if you're talking about upscaling or synthetic, then yes, perhaps in certain instances it can be. However, if you watch my previous video where they use the 4070 Ti as a baseline, so let's say the 4070 Ti is 100% across these different benchmarks compared to a 3090 Ti. In some cases, the 3090 Ti was coming in at 95 to 98% of rasterization against a 4070 Ti. But in other cases, the 3090 Ti was outperforming it by 25 to 30% more. So to say that the 4070 Ti is 1.8 times faster than a 3090 Ti is just ludicrous. And it's marketing gimmicks. And it's the same old BS from Nvidia. Now, when it comes to hash rates, you know, 3090 Ti compared to a 4070 Ti, we already talked about this in a previous video where I showed you guys my TPA calculator, and we created a spreadsheet to predict hash rates on a 4070 Ti and compare those against a 3090 Ti as well as others. And, you know, on memory intensive algorithms, it seems as though efficiencies are pretty much neck and neck. However, the 3090 Ti is going to outperform a 4070 Ti in hash rates on things like Flux, Ergo, ETHW, or Ethereum Classic. But where it is looking like it's going to have an advantage is core intensive algorithms like Caspa or Radiant. So is it 1.8 times faster? No. Is it 1.8 times more efficient on core algorithms? Maybe. We've got about 2 more days before we find out. If you plan on buying a 4070 Ti, please do me a favor, share your hash rates with us. I would love to be the first one to break the news. Now, I'm sure there's going to be somebody out there that beats us to the punch. I am considering buying a 4070 Ti just because of my predictions on Caspa and Radiant. But let's face it, that money is probably better spent on buying more solar, or perhaps just sticking the money directly into the coin if I had that type of capital. But anyways, let's move on and let's talk about the other new mineable coin that I saw, which is GPU mineable coins, and that is Clore. And Clore is pretty new. It's about, I think, about 25 days old. Let's go ahead and take a look here at mining pool stats. So yeah, it's 25 days old. I joined their Discord a couple of weeks ago, and I've just been idly standing by, just kind of watching and figuring out what this thing is all about. And if I'm being honest, I'm still kind of clueless. I did go ahead and ask some questions in their Discord, and I got some good answers, and I wanted to share that with you guys. But before we take a look at those questions, let's take a look at their website real quick. So it says, "Hi, I'm Clore Blockchain, a native currency of Clore.ai marketplace. What's my purpose? Clore Blockchain is here to reward computing power providers on Clore.ai marketplace. Providers will be earning Clore Blockchain when they successfully rent their machine on Clore.ai, alongside with the Bitcoin paid for from the customers for the computing power." So if you take a look at their marketplace here, you can see that there are a few people renting their rigs. One of them consists of four 3090s, another one with one 3080, one with a 3070, one with a 3060 Ti, and they're charging by Satoshis or Bitcoin. And let's take a look at this one. So, four 3090s for 120,000 sats per day. Now, I already took the liberty and did the math, but 120,000 sats per day is approximately $20 per day. So, one who's charging 10,000 would be considerably less. So, maybe a dollar or two a day. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm not real sure how this marketplace for renting your hardware ties into the blockchain, but perhaps some of these Q&As can shed some light here. So here's some of the questions that I asked. Number one, what is the total supply? And the answer is 1.3 billion. Next is, what is the emission schedule? And he says block reward is decreasing every block. Image included for the first 20 years, which is this image here. So you can see that year one total block reward is 435. Year two, it's 349. Year three, 280, and so on. So there isn't really a halving event, but about every 4 years is roughly a half. The next question is, was there a pre-mine? To which they replied, no, but we have 10% of the block reward. So that's a bit concerning. 10% is significant, but, I don't know. We talked many times about dev funding, and it's necessary, and I'm all for it. But when it's mandatory and not optional, kind of a gray area for me. I haven't really made up my mind about this. Anyways, moving on. So, next question, why was Kapow used as the algorithm? To which the answer is, seemed like a popular algo that works when I was creating the Clore blockchain. Now, as far as being ASIC resistant, it is more ASIC resistant than some of the other algorithms, but not necessarily ASIC proof, right? It's just the incentive to do so isn't as high as it is on some of the others. And having said that, I'm not a fan of Kapow. I don't like the abuse on my GPUs. I don't typically mine any algorithm that is Kapow. And I don't know. To me, it seems like a poor choice, but I understand the reasons behind their choice. Next, what distinguishes Clore from Flux, for example? To which they answered, we focus on GPU cloud more in answer 8. So we'll get to that here in just a moment. Next, are the devs anonymous? Have they worked on anything else? To which they replied, I am the only developer. I have 5+ years experience doing full stack nodes projects. And then next we have, how does the Clore marketplace tie into the native token or the blockchain? Are they currently separate? To which he replies, hosting providers on the marketplace gets rewarded with Clore blockchain, but otherwise they are currently separate. In the future, we plan for Clore that it might be used to lower fees on the marketplace, and that Clore blockchain holders will receive dividends from the marketplace profitability. And then getting into question 8, why are sats used instead of the native token? To which they replied, we want the marketplace to be used by normal people. I don't think it is a good idea from the beginning to use our own really volatile token. We are planning to add normal fiat USD payments so that more people will be able to use the platform. And then next, number 9, what additional features would you like people to be aware of? He replies, we are alternative cloud GPU provider, trying our bet on simplicity of everything, and in the future we are planning on possibility of caching Docker images with mostly used SW and hosting providers HW, so people will be able to use stable diffusion right away, for example. That's pretty cool. And then lastly, which miners support Clore the best? And this answer don't really understand. We are glad for everybody. Also, I don't think we can argue about it like this. Miners behave in a market-like manner. I think he's just simply saying that, you know, any miner could be used. So, you know, if it's Kapow, then yeah, any miner that supports Kapow perhaps should be able to mine this coin. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. I'm seeing a lot of activity, a lot of people joining their Discord. You know, I really don't. I haven't formulated an opinion on this. I'm not recommending it. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't mine this. I will say that if you do want to mine it, I highly recommend that you have a virtual machine set up for your wallet until we know for sure that the wallet for this is safe. And of course, follow all the other standard protocols. Whenever you're going to mine something that is speculative like this, you need to be making sure your network is secure. Perhaps isolating this outside of your network would be a great idea. But anyways, I thought it was interesting and wanted to give it a little bit of coverage. So anyways, moving on. A couple other things that I want to talk about. In a video coming up, we're going to talk about whether buying or mining is the way to go. I think Rabbit had a video a couple of days ago where he was saying, you know, if you buy the coin, then you're potentially going to make this much more than mining it. And I would say at these current price levels, that's probably true. However, if we do the math, the reality, not just the speculation, and what I mean by reality is every time you buy crypto, there's fees. Whether you're using Coinbase, Crypto.com, Kraken, Huobi, KuCoin, there's always fees involved. And I don't think that these fees are really taken into consideration, especially on a micro level. And what I mean by that is small purchases. So let's say, for example, if you were DCAing $100 a month, you're going to have a one-time fee with Crypto.com whenever you make that purchase of $2.99 if you're using a credit card or debit card. And you know, unless you have your bank account set up with them with wire transfers and stuff like that, I find that pretty unlikely that most people are set up that way. And then also you're going to have a network fee as well as additional fees. And then, you know, we get into the, you know, if you're mining, let's say $2 worth or $10 worth of a coin per day, you're not paying any of those particular fees that you would be paying to the exchange, such as a credit card fee. Now you will have network fees perhaps if you try to move that, but you're not necessarily paying a network fee once you're mining it and getting paid. Let's say, for instance, daily or hourly, or you know, however large your farm is may determine that. But what I'm pointing out is there are other fees to associate with this, and if you're making small DCAs like $5 a day or $15 every week or $100 a month, those fees add up really quick, and it may not necessarily be in your best interest to purchase it versus mining it. But we're going to cover that in detail in another video. And then someone else had a great suggestion that I just wanted to share with you guys, and they said that it'd be awesome if we cover Hyper-V setup as well as how to clone virtual machines for each coin to store the core wallets, and then also OpenVPN setup in Hive OS, and again isolating your router on your home network to make sure that you don't have anything malicious there. So we're probably going to start covering that in some videos here in the near future, so stay tuned for that. And then last thing I wanted to mention is the last video, we talked briefly about Daniel Keller and a tweet that he had about YouTubers shilling S coins, and somebody had replied that at some point Flux was also an S coin, which was Zel hash at that point, and he mined it at a loss and he supported the network. And I had my snippy little reply, but I kind of felt bad afterwards, and I just wanted to reach out to Daniel and just kind of compound upon what I had said. And he responded to me saying, I'm not saying you're wrong because I agree, but you should really create an anonymous Twitter account to vent on. You're the face of Flux, and I worry Flux will succumb to criticism because of your lack of filter. And he said, Flux is a decentralized project. I don't define the project, and I'm the least aggressive co-founder in the blockchain. To which I replied, you're my favorite co-founder. Perhaps I was having a moment, and I'm sorry. But in all seriousness, I care a lot about Flux because it is truly the best use case and decentralized network out of all of the GPU mineable coins. Like you, I want to protect it, and I worry about every aspect. And he said, amen, brother. We're on the same page. Thank you for your support. And I'm glad we had our little amends there. I don't want him to think that I have any ill will towards him or towards Flux, because I don't. I think it's phenomenal. I think Daniel Keller is great. But again, I just want to caution him because if you look at some of the other founders of other projects, sometimes everything they say isn't always spread in the right light. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys in this video. Do me a favor, hit the like and hit the subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys tomorrow.